Welcome to Beyond the Pump, managing maintenance for C-stores, forecourts, and car washes. We're so glad that you've joined us for this Titan Cloud webinar on maintenance and asset management. We're looking forward to hosting this webinar, and we're going to go ahead and get started. All right, before we jump into the heart of the webinar, I'd like to provide a little bit of information about Titan Cloud software. Titan Cloud is the AI-driven platform for energy asset optimization, connecting people, equipment, and facilities across fuel, site systems, and EV infrastructure. By unifying data from your tanks, dispensers, EV chargers, and sites into a single secure platform, Titan helps you maximize operational efficiency, reduce risk, and run cleaner, more profitable operations. So my name is Chrissy Bucher. I'm the Director of Marketing with Titan Cloud, and I am focused on driving marketing strategy for the company with a strong focus on thought leadership and educational content. So really looking to develop content such as these webinars and blogs to really help our fuel retailers and the broader energy ecosystem. And with me today is David Cornish. David, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, everybody. I'm David Cornish. I'm the Maintenance and EV Solutions Consultant here at Titan Cloud. Been working with fuel retailers for 15 years to help them optimize their maintenance strategy.
All right. And to get everybody thinking, we're going to kick it off with a poll question. So I'm going to launch a poll question and we'll give it a couple of minutes for everybody to answer. But our first poll question today is, how would you describe your maintenance program today? Okay. It looks like most of our votes are in. So I'm going to go ahead and close the poll and then you'll get to see the results. All right. So 22% say mostly reactive. We fix issues when they happen. 67%, a mix of reactive and preventive. And then really nobody selected option C. And then we've got 11% for centralized and data-driven across sites. So David, in your experience working with maintenance operators, does this result surprise you?
No, it's exactly in line with what I'd expect. Definitely a mix of reactive and preventative. Often we see customers and prospects looking to move more towards a more preventative and more on that kind of side of things. But this is bang where I'd expect everybody to be at the moment.
Right. Thank you for taking that poll, everyone. So I'm going to turn it over to David at this point and go off camera so that he can present the rest of the webinar.
So the fuel and convenience retail sector is undergoing a period of significant transformation as traditional business models evolve and new competitive pressures emerge. Historically, fuel sales were the primary driver of forecourt traffic and revenue. Today, however, operators are increasingly seeing revenue patterns shift as margins on fuel remain tight, and a growing share of profitability comes from in-store purchases and value-added services. Fuel sales are declining for a whole variety of reasons. Fuel cars are more efficient than ever before, generally using around 35% less fuel than at the beginning of the century. And EV sales are growing too. So 97% of new registrations in Norway, around 20% in the UK, and even in the US, 7% of new registrations for cars are fully electric battery EVs. And many EV owners are able to predominantly charge at home or the workplace, further reducing footfall to sites. And then following on from COVID, the newer hybrid and remote working patterns mean that people are commuting less than they used to as well. So getting customers to use stations and into the seesaw to buy food, beverages, and other services is critical to the success of the fuel retailer. And that increasing EV adoption can also prove a bit of a headache by adding high power, complex assets into the mix. And getting that experience right for customers is definitely a challenge as well. And then to top it all off, the maintenance and repair costs are spiraling through inflation, labor rates, travel rates, parts, and tariffs. It all definitely adds up. So what does this mean for fuel retailers? The disruption taking place across the fuel and convenience retail sector has several important implications for operators. As the industry evolves, retailers are facing increasing pressure to rethink the role of the forecourt and how it delivers value to customers. First, operators are under growing pressure to reinvent the customer experience in order to remain both competitive and profitable. As traditional fuel margins tighten and customer expectations evolve, forecourts are becoming destinations that offer convenience food, services, and increasingly EV charging as well. This shift requires operators to think beyond fueling alone and focus on delivering a broader, more compelling customer experience. At the same time, asset availability has become more critical than ever before. Customers expect key services, including some newer emerging ones with parcel delivery lockers and even laundrettes, to be consistently available. And when these assets fail, the impact is immediate, not only through lost transactions, but also through the frustration that can damage customer loyalty. And another challenge comes from the growing number and diversity of the assets that operators must manage. As sites add new equipment and services, operational complexity increases, and the risk of asset downtime rises if maintenance processes are not able to keep pace. And that expansion of EV charging infrastructure also adds another dimension. While charging can attract new customers and extend the dwell time on site, unreliable chargers can quickly harm a brand's reputation and undermine the intended benefits. For many operators, managing the growing portfolio of assets means ever increasing maintenance costs. Over the past few years, the nature of the fuel forecourt maintenance and asset management has shifted significantly, as modern forecourt has evolved from a fuel-first site into one with those broader retail and convenience offerings. Historically, maintenance concentrated on the core fuel infrastructure, things like pumps and the tanks and whatnot. And while these services are obviously still critical, their share of the day-to-day maintenance activity has declined as other site assets have become more central to the customer experience and revenue generation. Today, the forecourts are increasingly complex, multi-asset environments that can often resemble small retail hubs more than traditional fuel stations. Things like the grab-and-go equipment, coffee machines, refrigeration units, EV chargers, digital signage, POS systems, car washing, and HVAC all require monitoring, maintenance, and management. As operators compete for higher margin in-store sales, maintaining the reliability and availability of these assets has become a strategic priority rather than an operational concern. Now, this has changed how maintenance is managed. Operators in general are trying to move away from the reactive break-fix models and towards a more data-driven asset management approach, supported by remote monitoring and centralized maintenance platforms like Type Maintenance. At the same time, the rise of EV charging is introducing an entirely new asset class to forecourts. Chargers bring different maintenance requirements, software dependencies, and uptime expectations, particularly as regulators and networks increasingly track charger reliability metrics. Now, I'm in the UK, and over here, the UK government has the public charge point regulations, where charge point operators must achieve their 99% uptime across their network. And as a result of all of that, forecourt maintenance teams are now responsible for a broader and more diverse set of assets than ever before. We just had a quick look at the graph that's on the screen at the moment. It kind of highlights this a bit. It's reactive maintenance data from a single UK-based fuel retailer. And in 2025, only 12.5% of work orders created were to do with fuel systems, which is down from around about 25% only a handful of years ago. And it's not just in the percentage terms either. The raw numbers of work orders for fuel systems is roughly the same. And as this data is from a single retailer, the pattern is generally the same across our entire customer base. So what do operators stand to lose? So forecourt operators obviously recognize that asset reliability directly affects site performance, revenue, and customer experience. When maintenance processes are inefficient or reactive, the consequences quickly translate into measurable financial and reputational losses. The most immediate risk is lost revenue caused by those out of service or unreliable assets. Many operators still rely on manual processes to identify issues and initiate repairs, which can slow response times and extend asset downtime. Whether the asset is a fuel pump, a coffee machine, or an EV charger, every hour it remains unavailable represents missed revenue. Operators also face the challenge of leaking profits through higher maintenance costs. As asset portfolios grow more complex, coordinating repairs and maintenance across their estates becomes significantly more difficult. Without network-wide visibility into asset health, maintenance history, and warranty coverage, operators may miss opportunities to repair equipment under warranty or address small issues before they escalate into expensive failures. Unexpected breakdowns on critical assets often require urgent service visits with tighter SLAs, which typically come with higher costs. Beyond the direct financial impact, unreliable assets can also lead to a poor customer experience, which ultimately affects brand reputation and customer loyalty. Today's customers expect convenience and reliability, whether they're fueling, charging their vehicle, or buying their morning coffee. When these key services are unavailable, customers are more likely to choose a different location in the future, creating long-term revenue loss that extends beyond the initial missed sale. Now, for operators, the cumulative effect of downtime, rising maintenance costs, and frustrated customers highlights the importance of modernizing maintenance processes and improving visibility across their forecourt asset networks. So just touching back on that warranty tracking for a second. We estimate that operators who don't accurately track the warranty on their assets, nor use that data in their day-to-day maintenance operations, spend more than $3,300, €2,900 per site per year on work that should be covered by warranty. That really stacks up for the larger states. And Titan Maintenance tracks your asset warranties automatically and ensures that you never pay for a repair for a breakdown covered by warranty. So what could the future hold? Titan Maintenance brings some great features to the table to help retailers manage their estate's assets and maintenance regime. Automated maintenance dispatch, reducing reliance on help desks. On average, Titan Maintenance customers dispatch more than 75% of their reactive work orders to contractors or internal technicians without any help desk or manager involvement, removing the need to manage day-to-day maintenance issues that occur at site, leaving staff free to concentrate on the more challenging issues. Now, for planned maintenance, every fuel retailer that I talk to wants to move towards planned preventative maintenance and away from a predominantly break-fix approach. Obviously, there's plenty of good reasons for this. The costs being generally known and appropriately budgeted for up front is always a big one. If you plan the maintenance, you know the costs. Yet so many retailers are managing this through Excel, through Outlook, or have outsourced it to a third-party contractor to manage, so they're not really in control. Well, Titan Maintenance will manage your spend for planned, compliance, and your legally mandated inspections for you, automatically generating all the work orders and sending them to your vendors appropriately, adjusting the schedule as needed, chasing contractors, and presenting you with smart graphical dashboards with the information at your fingertips so you know exactly where you are. And then there's financial control. So with Titan Maintenance being a full asset and maintenance management platform, spend management and reporting is one of the most popular features of the product. As costs are allocated to each work order, they are automatically part of each asset and therefore each manufacturer and each model, each one of your sites, each one of the regions and the business units, which allows you to cut and slice their data however is the most appropriate for you. Some of the most popular data visualizations that customers use are maintenance spend versus purchase price for assets, which really allows them to sweat each asset as much as possible before it becomes more economically viable to replace it rather than keep repairing it. Benchmarking your asset manufacturers or models against each other helps you to make more informed capital replacement decisions. And of course, there's integrated delegation for quote and approval of invoices, as well as APIs that support the integration of Titan Maintenance into your ERP system of choice, including PDI and SAP. With improved vendor management, yet making sure that those vendors are meeting their contracted SLAs is obviously important, and especially for those out-of-action assets which have a direct and observable revenue impact, as is controlling their maintenance and asset spend. But so things like first-time fix, making sure that your equipment is back up and running as quickly as possible. And contractor scorecards and league tables are a popular way to benchmark your vendors at a glance. But it's also super important to make sure that everyone on site is working safely and is meeting your health and safety processes and procedures, whether that's a self-certification that they have the appropriate training, to a branching risk assessment with life-saving rules and PPE checks. It's all part of Titan Maintenance. For many fuel retailers, maintenance operations have historically relied on a fragmented set of systems and manual processes. Work orders, contractor coordination, asset management, and reporting often sit across multiple disconnected systems, or very often myriad spreadsheets, making it difficult to maintain a clear picture of asset performance across the entire estate. This lack of integration typically results in slow response times, inefficient vendor dispatch, and extended asset downtime when equipment fails. In these kind of setups, site staff initiate repairs through emails or phone calls to a help desk team. And tracking the progress of those repairs can often be difficult, with little real-time visibility for site managers or maintenance teams. As a result, equipment can remain out of service longer than necessary, impacting both operational efficiency and customer experience. A connected, automated maintenance platform, like Titan Maintenance, changes this model. By using an end-to-end platform for asset data, maintenance, health and safety workflows, contractor interactions, and invoicing in a single system, operators gain a complete view of their entire estate. Titan Maintenance's automated workflows can automatically dispatch work orders to the right contractor, trigger approval processes, and coordinate contractors with far less manual effort. The benefits extend beyond operational efficiency, with improved visibility into work order status and asset performance. Forecourt operators can increase first-time fix rates and reduce overall downtime. At the same time, having asset and maintenance data sit in-house and not with contractors shifts knowledge back to the operator, allowing them to benchmark contractor performance against SLAs and use real performance data to drive improvement. With Titan Maintenance, asset and maintenance management evolves from a reactive process into a more controlled, data-driven operational capability. It's time for another poll, I think. Chrissy.
All right, so you should be seeing the question now. I'll give it a minute to collect responses. Well, responses are coming in. I'm seeing 3 of the 5 selected so far. Let me give it a few more seconds, and then we'll close the poll and share the results. And again, this was poll number 2. What is your biggest obstacle to improving uptime across sites? So we had 7% say limited visibility into asset issues, 36% managing multiple vendors or contractors, 21% slow response times, 0% not enough performance or downtime data. It's interesting. And then 36% too many manual processes, examples, calls, emails, or spreadsheets.
Yeah, this is definitely one that I thought would have a bigger split kind of on it, because there's a lot of different challenges kind of there, and a lot of them will be a lot of the operators will have a lot of those different kind of problems as well.
Okay. All right, well, why don't we go ahead and take poll 3. Which asset category creates the most maintenance headaches across your locations? Okay, starting it up right now. All right, I think we've got most of our responses. I'm going to go ahead and close the poll and we'll share the results. It's actually spread quite nicely across the 5 choices here. All right, 20% say car wash, 10% beverage equipment, 30% refrigeration, coolers / freezers, 10% HVAC or building systems, and 30% EV chargers. So you got EV chargers and refrigeration at a tie, David. What do you think?
I'm not overly surprised by this kind of poll, because there's a spread. Yes, the refrigeration and EV chargers have got the top 2, but not by massive margins. There's no kind of one thing that everyone's got a problem with. It's a big mix kind of throughout it. Even though we saw food and drink on their retailer earlier on having the largest work order share, doesn't necessarily mean it's the biggest headache that's kind of as well there as well. Not surprised by EV chargers. We see that a lot in the businesses that we work with. It's a different kind of class of assets and a different way to operating. Very, very technical pieces of equipment there, so that's not surprising. As well as refrigeration as well. There's so many things that go wrong with the refrigeration. So yeah, kind of good to see a nice mix across the poll options.
Yeah, thanks for participating. It's interesting to see all the different results. And I'll hand it back over to you, David.
Thanks, Chrissy. So Titan Maintenance helps reduce downtime, improve experience, and grows revenue. Outside of these 3, the car wash, the coffee machines, and the refrigeration, outside of the fuel, these 3, the car wash, the coffee machines, and the refrigeration, tend to be the biggest revenue generators across our customer base. The reliability of non-fuel assets is paramount to site performance, with equipment such as car washes, coffee machines, and refrigeration units being key drivers of both revenue and customer experience. When these assets go out of service, the impact extends well beyond the equipment itself. For example, a car wash that is out of order immediately results in lost sales, but the consequences often go further. So customers who arrive expecting to use the service may leave the site entirely, reducing the likelihood of repeat visits, potentially losing fuel or install purchases as well. Similarly, when coffee machines are unavailable, operators lose transactions for one of the highest margin products in the convenience store. At the same time, frustrated customers may perceive the site as unreliable and choose the alternative locations in the future. It's said that 30% of customers will abandon a brand that they love after just one bad experience. And this isn't specific to fuel retail and C-stores, it's a general customer experience trend, but nonetheless, it is quite a scary one. Refrigeration and chiller failures can have an even greater operational impact. In addition to lost sales when products cannot be prepared or sold, refrigeration failures often result in spoiled inventory, creating additional cost and waste for operators. This one in particular is always the hardest for us to model when we're doing ROI calculations or with the various different products that can get spoiled. Now, these challenges highlight the importance of proactive maintenance strategies designed to keep the critical assets operating reliably. Titan's preventative maintenance features aim to prevent failures before they occur, while improved contractor accountability ensures that issues are resolved quickly and efficiently. By tracking the asset downtime and analyzing performance data, operators can gain deeper insights into which equipment requires attention and where the improvements can be made. Ultimately, a proactive maintenance approach helps keep revenue-generating assets online, protects the customer experience, and supports long-term growth for modern forecourt operators. So Titan Maintenance is trusted by retailers worldwide, with customers in 48 countries, and we scale from regional operators with 50 sites to global retailers who manage thousands of sites through the product. It's the only maintenance and asset management platform built specifically for fuel and convenience retailers, and we have some deep industry knowledge. So we don't just know about the maintenance and the asset management software, we know about fuel, we know about forecourts, about car washes, coffee machines, refrigerators, and EV chargers. And it's this knowledge that our customers love and rely on. And now that the maintenance and EV products are part of Titan Cloud, the platform and customers benefit from Titan's AI-driven data platform and teams. And it's a proper AI strategy and product roadmap with some seriously well-credentialed people on board. There's dedicated and specialist AI models for both data and agentic AI, not just shoving in ChatGPT and calling it a day. Other LLM chatbots are available. And talking of Titan's other products, if you're an operator with Titan's compliance, fuel analytics, or supply and logistics products, and you also have or sign up for Titan Maintenance, then you'll also benefit from having a centralized place for all of your site alerts, Titan Maintenance. So nozzle down and flow rate alerts from fuel analytics, release detection, SIR, and alarms from compliance will all be surfaced in Titan Maintenance. So you'll have a single pane of Titan glass to manage your estates for assets, maintenance, and alerts. And Titan Maintenance is a full end-to-end maintenance and asset management platform. And this graphic shows the general approach and steps taken for each reactive work order that runs through the product, automating many of the steps, from automatically dispatching work orders to the correct vendor first time, every time, and chasing them before they breach their service level agreements, to validating their invoices before you approve them for payment. And these steps are the general ones that we see most customers take. The actual life cycle of a task is completely up to our customers. The product is really good at fitting around existing business processes. After all, there's nothing great about taking on a product like this and being forced to massively adjust your maintenance processes to fit. Of course, we also use our 2 decades of industry knowledge and expertise to suggest some sensible best practices for workflows and configurations as we mobilize and onboard customers into the platform. And it's a very collaborative approach. We don't just take your money, throw you the keys, and wish you luck. We work with you to configure and onboard you onto a system that works for you. In the 15 years that I've been doing this, I've never seen 2 customers that are completely the same, even from different regions within the same fuel retailer. So just touching on EV for a couple of minutes. EV is here now, and it is only going to grow. Titan EV is our product for charge point owners and operators, including fuel retailers. It helps customers improve the availability, reliability, and uptime of their charging infrastructure. And this in turn delivers an improved experience for the end users, the EV drivers. It secures revenue and helps build a stronger brand for businesses. Every month, we help deliver more than 500,000 trouble-free charging sessions for EV drivers. And since launching Titan EV, we've been on a mission to work with charge point operators to understand what's important to them and how we can use their charge point data to improve their business, their revenue, and customer experience metrics by building a more reliable and dependable charging network. Obviously, fuel retailers understand how critical reliable pumps are to their customers, the reputation, and the bottom line. Our fuel retail customers already enjoy an annual uptime of more than 99% for their fuel dispensing assets. Of course, it's had about 100 years to get there, which is a little bit more than the EV industry has had. But when an EV charger breaks, it's often down for days and maybe weeks. And often there's usually only one or maybe two others to use instead. And these might also be out of service, meaning that drivers have to hunt around for another one nearby or limp onwards, feeling increasingly anxious. It's not something that fuel car drivers generally have to worry about. Titan EV monitors data streams from the chargers and runs huge amounts of anomaly detection algorithms on them, looking for issues and errors, triaging them, and then taking the appropriate corrective action. It takes care of the day-to-day issues that occur with chargers, including automatically resetting them in line with manufacturer recommendations. Manufacturers love to tell you to turn them off and on again. So it leaves the teams better prepared to concentrate on the more complex problems. It also surfaces issues with chargers that haven't yet failed, but may do soon, giving you predictive maintenance. And we've worked with some of our customers to automatically alert them when their charger cables are cut and stolen. And if you're not familiar with the EV charging industry, it's actually surprisingly common how much that happens. Titan EV can be included in Titan Maintenance to give you asset and maintenance management of your chargers alongside your fuel assets. And those chargers don't just have to be on the forecourt. They can be home chargers, workplace chargers, en route chargers, and destination chargers too. So it's just a few of the customers that we work with across the world, from multinationals to regional operators to service providers. Titan Maintenance is extremely configurable and fits businesses and operator models of all types. Company-owned, dealer sites, unmanned sites, truck stops, and any mix of them too. Whatever you've got, we can cover it. Around 1 million automated work orders roll through Titan Maintenance each year, which equates to approximately $700 million of maintenance spend. We're trusted by the retailers with operations in more than 48 countries. So if you're a fuel operator, you should give us a call or email or LinkedIn or whatever you fancy. We've got 5 minutes left, so I think that's about some time for some Q&A. Chrissy, I shall hand back to you.
Yeah, thanks, David. There's so much more to see with Titan Maintenance, so that was just a little preview. And if anyone is interested in a more robust demo, please reach out to us at titancloud.com. As David mentioned, you can get in touch with us through our website.